for another Talk About It Tuesday, and the real estate questions just keep rolling in. I love it. Listen to this. Are container homes more affordable than traditional housing? Is it harder to get financing to build them? What are the pros and cons of owning a container home? So let's talk about this container home thing. So we're in an economy where housing prices are skyrocketing. There's a housing shortage. Building materials are through the roof. We're in an environment where people are trying to be eco-friendly. We're in an environment where people are trying to be minimalist. So the container home is a perfect solution for that. And when I say perfect solution, what is a container home? It's just what it sounds like. It is a repurposed shipping container. Yeah, the kind that they stack on the ships, a repurposed shipping container. So I'm sure you're wondering, how do you make a home out of a repurposed shipping container? You'd be amazed. You can do, if you're a minimalist, a single shipping container, and the 40-foot long ones, they're obviously very narrow, but they can cut them up and make a nice single unit home. But you can stack them, you can place them next to each other, you can get creative ways of moving them around to create multiple rooms, multiple levels. And so people are actually creating homes out of repurposed shipping containers. So is it more affordable? Well, it depends on what you do, right? How creative you get, how many containers you use. You also have to consider, you have to buy the land first. So when you purchase the land, you purchase the containers, you have to build it out. Depends on how extensive the interior finishings are. It depends on how high you stack it, how elaborate you make it. You could possibly make a wood frame house, depending on, again, the geographic location, cheaper than a shipping container home if you make the container home very elaborate. But on average, it's looking at, for shipping container homes, for the smallest, between 10,000 and on really to the 60 to 80, sometimes $90,000 end for the more elaborate ones. So, question, can you get traditional financing? No, for a few reasons. One, it is not a traditional property. It is a shipping container. And so there's no bank that's going to give you a mortgage on a shipping container. That reason alone. But this next reason is shipping container homes don't last very long. On average, between 15 to 25 at the max years, and your whole place is going to rust out and fall apart. So there's no way you get a 30-year mortgage on a, property that's only going to last 15 to 25 years. Plus, the amount that the acquisition and build out cost is too low. The bank wouldn't make any money on it. So no, you will not get traditional financing like you would for real estate on a shipping container home. So what are the pros? Some of the pros are, depending on, again, the climate environment, it's really easy. It's probably easier and faster to build than a traditional home, right? Because the basics are there. You have the foundation, you have the roof, you have the walls. So the foundation, the basics are there. And then it's just cutting it, maneuvering it, stacking it, welding it, cutting out and making more rooms or whatever. So faster and easier. What other pros are there? Sturdy material. The whole thing is made out of steel. Obviously more economical in many ways. But what are the drawbacks? So climate control is an issue because it's made out of steel. So when it's hot, it's hot. When it's cold, it's cold. So you have to put extra work into trying to, create the climate. The size of it, for many people, is an issue. It's tiny. And if you're used to a bigger space in terms of a home or an apartment, that can be problematic. I think you have like 7-foot or 8-foot ceilings, 7-foot ceilings, 8-foot ceilings, maybe 7 to 8 feet wide. It can be as long as 40 feet, but they're very narrow and the ceilings are low. So unless you plan on doing a lot of cutting and a lot of maneuvering, it is what it is. It's small. Another drawback could be zoning. You have to be in a particular place that will allow for that, right? And so there are restrictions not only on how big places can be, but how small they can be. It has to be able to also fit into utilities. So you have to be able to get electricity and sewage and water and all and heat, all the utilities has to be able to, plug into that. Another drawback is like I said, it will degrade, it will rust. It's made of steel, and so eventually it won't exist. Resale value, depending on how long you had it, you probably won't get out what you put in, because who's going to buy a house that won't be here long? Heritability, you're probably not going to be able to pass it on to an heir. So there are issues that come with it. But if you want, again, to be eco-friendly, you want to repurpose these containers, if you want to be a minimalist and you don't need a lot of space, if you want to, get creative and artistic in design, then it's a great opportunity. If you don't have a lot of money, it's a good opportunity. So there are pros and there are cons. It's a thing that's starting to grow more and more, because there are a lot of used shipping containers. You can get one for as cheap as maybe $2,000 for a used one, the smaller ones. For the larger ones, maybe $6,000 for a used one. Doesn't make sense to buy a brand new one. Get a used one, and your starting frame, your basics are very inexpensive in there. So there are some pros, there are some cons. I can't imagine myself living in a repurposed shipping container, but again, different strokes for different folks. Love the question. Love to hear your comments. Please like, share, subscribe. Keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.